Hi. My name is Maddie K, and welcome to the House of Popular Cardigan. This is the House Podcast, and in today's episode, the very first episode, we are going to be watching Alexander McQueen's Plato's Atlantis, his very last fashion show runway before passing away by taking his own life. Lady Gaga used the shoes from this collection for her music video, Bad Romance. This collection is incredible. It's futuristic, it's ancient, it's colorful, it's practical, it's powerful. Alexander McQueen is everything right with a combination of fashion and art. Let's get started. 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 It's pitch black. You can hear music in the background as a blue screen flashes a nude female. Sounds like ocean waves. And now she's turned into snakes. Oh no, snakes are slithering around her. It almost feels like a mermaid or Medusa put together. And now the snakes look like they're a phallic message because they're going down to her genital area. The music sounds ancient. It sounds like Mesopotamian, or not quite Egyptian, but something very ancient. And there's lots of ocean waves in the background. And now she's dissipated into digital geometric shapes of snakes, all blue. The screen is at the back of the runway, and as the lights come up, two robotic arms with cameras face the audience and show them themselves on the screen. And they're on dollies that move up and down the runway. It makes me feel like he's shoving technology in our face. Now the cameras look into each other, and on the screen they create an infinite depth of field as the first runway model walks out. Walks out, walks out, walks out, walks out, walks out. She looks like a humanoid fish. Her high-heeled shoes almost look like lobster claws or crab claws because they're so thick in the front and they point down so much, and in the back they're so thin. The first couple models all look very similar. They have these dresses that are very form-fitting up top and then jut out at the hips in a very feminine way but resemble fish skin or scales, but they could also look reptilian as much as amphibian or aquatic. They're very colorful. Their hair it looks like fins up top, like a shark fin, and then on the sides they have two, on either side, little frizzy pieces that kind of cascade down. They look like people who evolved underwater. They look like mermaids that grew legs. They look like fish that became people. The patterns of the clothes are pretty pretty indescribable. They're just random patterns. They look like fins or scales. And the models, they all look very similar, but they look different. They look like their own individual people, but like they all come from the same city. And the clothes, they almost look like a uniform because they're so indicative of where they come from. But they look expensive, they look detailed, they look durable. And the color is too hard to describe. There's golds, greens, blues, yellows, browns. It looks shimmery, it looks feminine. It accentuates their chest and their hips, but in a very aquatic way. It looks like the women of Atlantis walking around. And the music is ambient and electronic and cinematic. The clothes look like they're camouflage, but also peacocking. The fabric looks wet. And the two cameras that are going up and down the dollies, they almost feel like people, like entities, like they have their own personality. They're a part of the show. It's kind of like Atlantis is bragging that they have clothes that are beautiful and expensive, yet utilitarian in a way, and detailed, but practical for their lifestyle. The hair doesn't look like it's hair, it looks like it's a part of their body. And because they have like the dorsal fins up top and the fins smaller on the side, it looks like a fish head. I have no idea how he folded these clothes to sew them. The women all just seem quietly confident and relaxingly powerful. Their eyes are kind of made to look like they're a little bit bigger and almond shaped. Their skin is very pale and it looks wet. And they kind of move like they don't have to. The shoes are incredible, and like I said, Lady Gaga used them for her Bad Romance music video. They have such a unique look, and you can instantly tell that they're from this collection. Okay, so this outfit now I see is gold. It looks like an Egyptian queen. It looks like gold pieces sewn together. And these items, it's hard to tell if they're one piece or if they're individual pieces. They, like I said, they look almost like a uniform, like a dress, but a romper. Some of them have sleeves, some don't. Some have little capes, some don't. I saw the most beautiful, thick, brown leather belt with gold clasp. And now this dress looks like it's not tie-dyed, but there's just so many colors on it. I don't know if it was hand-painted or if it was screen printed, or if the fabric looked like that and then it was cut from that. Their hair is very commanding. Some of their hair is put back in like a fin, going like a mohawk, and some of them have two, and some are small, but some are really massive, and they go maybe a foot off the back, off the crown at a 45-degree angle. These clothes definitely seem like they're either from the future or from the very ancient past. They definitely are clothes, but they definitely have their own voice. If you wore any of this stuff, people would definitely notice. But not because it's not ridiculous at all. It's people would probably just feel it was way too ahead of them, because it's definitely grounded. It's just fantastical. It would be like if someone from Iowa went to a dance club in Paris. They probably would be surprised by some of the clothes that they see. They would recognize the garments, but they would just be different. Some of the models almost look like their bodies, their faces have modifications on them, like extra bones or extra pieces that make them almost appear alien-like. And this model's clutch purse looks like a black lacquered football shape that's just, I don't even know how you open it. And the way that they move are calmingly powerful. Like they're moving because they are, but they're not in any hurry. And these high heels, the backs are like spirals. The shoes are all different. Some have crystal crustacean on them, almost like coral. It's all very aquatically themed. But the clothes move too. It's almost like he made it out of a material that you don't know what it is, and it's very colorful and shimmery and looks wet, but he constructed it in a way to move so that you know they're not wearing a wetsuit, they're not wearing rubber. Or if they are, you wouldn't be able to tell. The hair is what really commands power. And their face, the makeup is so shimmery and glossy, they look like they're very ethereal. The music is tribal and electronic. It's futuristic, but it's not unknown. It just seems distant. All of these women look like they are queens and everyday people all at the same time, but I don't mean everyday people in our society, I mean everyday people in Atlantis. The shoes have such attitude and femininity. They point down in such a grounding way, and they accentuate every part of the model. The hair is insane. And the consistency goes to show that this collection created an entire civilization's fashion, in that there's lots of options for all different Atlantean women to wear, but they all go together. Now this woman is wearing a dress with half of her chest hanging out. And this dress is so shiny, it looks like It looks like a rainbow disco ball, her entire outfit. I don't know if it's glowing in the dark or if it's just reflective material. But there's a relaxing calmness vibe to the collection, even though it's very powerful. It's got this energy, the music, their walking, the clothes, everything of being so powerful that they don't have to rush or shove it in your face because you're made aware of it. And I think that because it's Plato's Atlantis, which people think of Plato as being ancient, but because Atlantis was so highly advanced, having these cameras as a part of the runway show helped to show that duality of ancient and advanced civilization. And in the finale, they are actually playing Bad Romance by Lady Gaga. And so that answers my question of whether or not Gaga used these shoes before, during, or after this runway. And even though the models all look different, that different skin tones, hair textures, they all look like Atlantean women. As if to say maybe this woman is from northern Atlantis, or this woman is from southern Atlantis, or... There's so many models, there's so many clothes. And I don't know if they're walking in a certain way that McQueen asked, or if that's the clothes that are causing that. And he comes out and he waves for about 2 seconds, as most designers will do. And he was just wearing jeans and a button-down shirt, white, and his glasses. And that was Alexander McQueen's final runway fashion show, Plato's Atlantis. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time on the House Podcast.